It may be approaching 2 decades since Brazil last lifted the greatest prize in the global game, but their habit of producing talent wanted the world over shows no sign of diminishing. The national press has been suitably hyperbolic when it comes to the Seleção's recent failures, particularly during their efforts on home soil 4 years ago, but Tite has breathed new life into what is shaping up to be a genuine World Cup challenge. The 57-year-old of course made his name at Paulista outfit Corinthians, a club which has won 3 league titles already this decade, as well as a Copa Libertadores crown and a Club World Cup. Brazil will have just 3 domestically based players in Russia this summer, 2 come from Corinthians. Arguably the most exciting young talent to leave these shores in the last few years was the Corinthians forward Malcolm, who has now made a name for himself at French outfit Bordeaux and has been linked with the move to one of Europe's more traditional giants. Whichever way you slice the cake, the talent pool in Brazil still runs deep. Vinicius Jr. has already sealed his multi-million-pound deal to Real Madrid from Flamengo. In the same city, Vasco da Gama's Paulino is set to bid São Januário goodbye and head to the Bundesliga with Bayer Leverkusen. Santos, famed for decades for a seemingly endless line of top-class talent, now boast Rodrigo amongst their ranks, a lad who needs permission to miss school to go on away trips with the Vila Belmiro outfit. And now, Corinthians have one more midfielder of hugely exciting potential amongst their ranks. Pedro Vitor Delmino da Silva, known more commonly as Pedrinho, has been making progress at the home of the champions and has quickly become the darling of the Itaquera terraces. Back in December, in an interview with Colin Kazim Richards, the Turkish international highlighted the skinny 20-year-old from Maceió as the player to watch at one of Brazil's biggest clubs. The youngster came from Salvador club Vitória and readily admits that the move to a metropolis was a struggle at first. "I came here, to São Paulo, when I was just 15 at first. It was very difficult when I arrived. I came on my own, to a huge city from Maceió and had to deal with things like the cold and being away from my parents. With time it has got easier and now I feel at home at the club." The attack-minded playmaker made the transition to first-team action last year and his performances have caught the eye since, yet Pedrinho remains focused on the present, for the time being at least. "I want to make sure I am a first-team regular at Corinthians for at least a couple of seasons. I am still yet to fully ensure my place in the team, and I want to spend time here before I consider moving anywhere else." The route from Brazil to Europe is a well-trodden one, but it is far from the only passport stamp out of the country these days. The Chinese Super League has been snapping up talent at an alarming rate and the 20-year-old has already received a concrete offer, which he turned down in an instant. "I didn't even want to know. I am yet to establish myself at Corinthians. It was flattering to receive the offer, but as soon as my agent told me about the offer I told him that I wasn't interested. Which was the club? I couldn't tell you, to be honest. I don't even know. I'm not ready to leave Corinthians and I certainly didn't want to leave at that time and not for China. If I do leave Corinthians one day, I expect it to be for a European club, the aim for any player in Brazil, on the day we meet. However, the club is negotiating its way through the kind of crisis which is common in this part of the world. After a week of toing and froing, Corinthians have lost their manager Fabio Caril to Saudi Arabian club Al Wahda, with youth coach Osmar Loss promoted to the top job. Things have not started smoothly. The club lost at home to Colombian club outfit Millonarios in the Copa Libertadores, before then losing away to Internacional in the Brasileirão the following Sunday. The defending champions have slipped to 6th in the league table, with a solitary victory in their last 5 league outings. However, Pedrinho is adamant that the restructuring at the top of the coaching chain will not have a long-term damaging effect on the playing staff. To be honest, it didn't come as a great surprise. We already knew there was an offer on the table and there was a strong possibility that Cori could leave the club. Now he has gone, our work will continue just the same as before.